What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for stopping by the channel. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is September 17th, 2021. I am JD from New York, and we have a lot to go over today. We're going to go over the Dynamite Grand Slam numbers, news on how many people will be attending that show. I got news on Christian Cage and how WWE is upset at him. Why we will not be hearing about Rex Steiner on NXT 2.0 on Tuesday nights as they gave him a new ridiculous name. I got news on Edge and how long he will be out to sell this storyline injury with Seth Rollins, and news on Triple H, and news about how the WWE talents may wish him well, but may not no longer conduct business with Paul Levesque. We're going to go over that right here on today's show. Major announcements. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about House of Glory. When are we coming back? We will be back November 12th. That is a Friday. New York City, Queens, the NYC Arena. Main event to be announced. I know what it is. First time ever. The main event is going to fill that place up, and we are going to be rocking and rolling in Queens on November 12th. All the information you guys need if you live in the New York area, I'll link you down in the comment section. As far as information to go buy tickets, Jason Solomon, a.k.a. Solomonster, and I will be back behind the desk for House of Glory doing commentary. So I am very excited about that coming up very, very soon. AEW Dynamite Grand Slam next week. The biggest Dynamite that Tony Khan will have produced up until this point. I've been throwing around the word historic a lot lately when it comes to AEW, and this fits that bill absolutely more than anything we've seen so far. More tickets have been sold for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam than any other show that AEW has put on. Next week, New York City, Queens, Arthur Ashe Stadium. They only have less than 1,000 tickets left. The show right now has 18,424 tickets out of 19,428 sold. It is very likely the show will be sold out come next Wednesday. Listen to this card and tell me it is not pay-per-view worthy, man. History. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. I can't wait. CM Punk will be live in New York City. MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki. Dr. Britt Baker will defend the Women's Championship against Ruby Soho. FTR versus Darby Allin and Sting. And then the big one, which a lot of people were complaining to me about and trying to compare this to the hot shot booking of Big E and him winning the WWE Championship. This is not hot shot booking. This was in the plans ever since Adam Page requested time off. And this is the first time in New York City. I think Tony Khan knows what he's doing. Additionally, this match is a non-title match. This match is not for the AEW Championship. Yet I have geeks coming at me complaining about Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega being in the ring on Wednesday night in a wrestling match. Oh my God, man, when I thought people couldn't get any more fucking stupid. Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. I mean that wholeheartedly. I really do. It's not the same as Big E being hotshot at the WWE title for fucking desperate ratings on Monday night. Listen to this Grand Slam Rampage card. Adam Cole, baby, and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. CM Punk versus Will Hobbs. And Men of the Year. That is Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky against Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. This Friday night's looking pretty good. Tonight, actually, I'll be live after SmackDown and Rampage. Lucha Brothers versus Butcher and Blade for the AEW Tag Team titles. Anna Jay versus The Bunny. And then Miro versus Fuego del Sol. This is Miro's TNT title versus Fuego's new Hyundai that he bought with all those monies he's now making from Tony Khan and his new AEW contract. Now, besides tonight, I mean, I don't really consider tonight history, but next week, history. Next week, history. And I can't wait to share that moment with all of you guys. I should this weekend at some point have a meet and greet place nailed down. It's very difficult to find a place in New York City that will be indoors, or outdoors rather. I need to be outdoors for you guys, and it's unseasonably warm, which was great so far leading up to this show. The weather should be great next week, and I want to meet and greet you guys because this is my hometown, this is my backyard. If you guys are flying in, if you guys are attending this show, you live in New York City, you're excited about this show, I want you to come out and meet and greet the other VIPs of the OTS family. I'll let you guys know about that at some point this weekend. But Grand Slam going to be nearly sold out. Sold out probably come Wednesday. History in the making for AEW. Speaking of Christian Cage, he's battling the Elite or the Super Click on Rampage with his boys Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. WWE is actually angry over Christian Cage comments and his promo on AEW Dynamite. Now, on SmackDown last week, Roman Reigns took a shot at AEW, and people backstage in WWE were reportedly very happy. Of course they were. Oh, the little babies, they finally got a little comment in. Oh, look, oh, we were making fun of them. Right? And then on AEW this week, Christian Cage took a shot at WWE, and people backstage in WWE were reportedly very unhappy. Oh, the little babies, they got upset. The little babies over here. Rules for thee and not for me, says the fucking geeks backstage in WWE. If you can't take it, get the fuck out of the kitchen. Bullshit, motherfucker, man. According to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, Christian's comments were met with a fair amount of anger from some in WWE, even though WWE had taken a blatant shot at AEW less than a week beforehand. Alvarez said, and I quote, "Someone in WWE texted me, and they were all excited when Roman Reigns made that comment last week, and the comment that the Usos made, and they were also very happy that they had taken a shot at AEW. And then on Dynamite, Christian Cage took a shot at WWE, and they were angry. I was like, bro, come on, it goes both ways. That's just what is going to happen. Oh, but I thought there wasn't competition in WWE as it pertains to AEW. Yet here you are celebrating Roman Reigns making an off-fucking-color comment about AEW that clearly wasn't in the fucking script, because who's going to script Roman Reigns when he goes out on SmackDown in front of the New York City crowd? I mean, give me a break. Now you're upset that AEW made a comment about you letting Adam Cole go and the fact that what you're doing down there in NXT is developmental, right? I mean, why does it hurt so much when AEW does it to WWE? Do you see AEW fucking crying, or do you hear Tony Khan crying about, oh, I'm angry at what they said on SmackDown? I mean, are you fucking serious? If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. You're gonna throw fucking off-color comments around like that, expect some retaliation in return. This is what is called competition. But I thought there wasn't no competition between WWE and AEW, man. I must be watching some other fucking program. Give me a break. What Christian said was spot on. And the reason why it hurt was because it was spot on. WWE, speaking of not being spot on, they usually never are. WWE has announced the main event for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And this was officially announced last night on social media. This match has been brewing since Lesnar made his return to WWE at SummerSlam. And last Friday on SmackDown, Lesnar confronted Reigns and said that Heyman knew he would be at SummerSlam. Of course, there was one person in WWE that knew Heyman was going to be at SummerSlam. It was going to be Brock Lesnar. However, before the Crown Jewel show, Reigns will defend the Universal Championship against the Demon, Finn Balor, at Extreme Rules. Crown Jewel is scheduled for Tuesday, October 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern on Peacock in the United States and the WWE Network for international fans. Meltzer reported that Lesnar was brought back after Fox expressed unhappiness over CM Punk signing with AEW. At one point, there were plans for Lesnar and Reigns at a future WrestleMania, and that WrestleMania more than likely would have been next year. It's unclear if those are still the plans. Well, clearly not. If they fast-track this match to Saudi Arabia, I'm expecting WWE to get The Rock and get Roman Reigns in a ring at WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley vs. Goldberg is another match that is expected to be added to the Crown Jewel card. So Bobby Lashley will not be winning the WWE Championship back, as some have speculated. You know, I get that WWE needs to announce these things to sell tickets for their show and whatnot, but, I mean, can we at least get through Extreme Rules? Can we really get through Extreme Rules? Now, I don't know if it's been confirmed by WWE social media. I don't know if there's a graphic made for it. All we know, I don't pay attention to WWE social media. I mean, who the fuck does? But I know after what we saw on SmackDown, that Finn Balor came out in the demon face paint to confront Roman Reigns and stare down Roman Reigns. I'm assuming that was going to be the match for the pay-per-view. And then, yesterday, WWE announces Brock Lesnar will challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship on October 21st at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Why? Why couldn't you wait to announce this match after Extreme Rules was over? Why do we need to get this announcement when Roman Reigns hasn't even gone through the Demon Finn Balor yet, and we're not through Extreme Rules yet? I don't know. Can you at least make it somewhat unpredictable? Now, I know nobody expects Finn Balor to take the Universal Championship off of Roman Reigns, but I mean, could you at least try? Could you at least try? Do you know what this does, in my honest opinion, with you announcing this match before we get through the Demon Balor versus Reigns match? This makes Balor look weak and look like a fucking geek. I don't know why anybody now would expect Roman Reigns to lose to Finn Balor when the money match, obviously, is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar on October 21st at Crown Jewel. Balor's bringing back the demon face paint. Why? Additionally, I don't know why this match is happening now as the Demon. I don't know why you have to really devalue the Demon after all of this with this match announced, because that's exactly what it does. I don't know why we just couldn't get the human, the regular Finn Balor against Roman Reigns. They gave us a great match on SmackDown. Why couldn't we do it again? Oh, Balor couldn't beat him. Let's put on the face paint. Nothing changes about him. His moveset doesn't change. The only thing that changes is his entrance, and he looks a little creepy. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't harbor any supernatural powers that are going to give him the advantage over Roman Reigns. So you're pretty much burying the Demon and announcing this match and making the Demon seem insignificant by doing so. Ass backwards is WWE. I don't know why this couldn't have waited another 2 weeks. Seriously. WWE will be keeping Edge off of TV for the next few months. WWE had Edge beat Seth Rollins in a singles match last month at SummerSlam. And then they booked the rematch on Friday's Madison Square Garden episode of SmackDown. The match was highly praised by fans. Rollins won the match with a stomp after several super kicks to the face. Following the match, WWE did an angle where Edge was placed on a stretcher and taken to the backstage area and then to the local medical facility. This was a standard angle to write Edge off of television. Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Observer newsletter that Edge will be away from the company for a few months. It's unclear exactly when Edge will be brought back, but it will likely be around WrestleMania season in early 2022. It should be noted that WWE Hall of Famer Edge did recently state in an interview that he loved to work with Sami Zayn, so that could be a future program. I don't know why we have to hold Edge off of TV till 2022 with this storyline. I mean, I get that WWE is making Edge a priority whenever he's on TV, and whoever he wrestles is better off for it, because Edge has been great. Edge has been great. I love everything he's been in so far, and I don't know why we have to wait till 2022 to wrap up this storyline, because clearly it's not over yet. It's not over yet. So Rollins and Edge, we got to wait for the third and final match, hopefully in 2020. Why is everything so spaced out tremendously? This would make sense if it happens in Saudi Arabia. Honestly. Because Edge is a big name. They need to sell tickets over there. The Prince wants all the top talent. Figured Edge and Rollins would be over there, and we wrap up the third and final match, the rubber match, in Saudi Arabia. We got to wait till, what, the Royal Rumble? We're going to wait till WrestleMania to do it? I don't know if anybody's going to be interested in that when he comes back, man. I mean, that's a long layoff. And Rollins has been great. The matches with Edge have been great. I actually thought the SmackDown match at Madison Square Garden was better than the SummerSlam match. But this is a long layoff. So Edge and Rollins clearly not done. I figured it would take place in Saudi Arabia. He's going to be out a couple of months. Maybe that is still the case. We don't really know. But Meltzer was reporting that he's going to be off until at least WrestleMania season. And that is usually January through April. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Edge. And Edge and Sami Zayn match, listen, man, if Edge is requesting to work with Sami Zayn, you ain't going to hear a complaint out of me. That would be fantastic. I think that would be great and good for Sami. So we'll see what happens there. I got news on Sami Zayn as well. His contract is actually coming up, and it is expiring later than originally reported. Writing in the Observer newsletter, Meltzer talked about and noted that Sami Zayn's contract may have been extended by as much as 9.5 months, meaning he wouldn't be free to leave until March 2022. We could be looking at a Sami Zayn Edge WrestleMania match if that is the case, and Edge really wants to work with him, and then Edge comes back, finishes his feud with Rollins around the Royal Rumble or so, and then we get Sami Zayn versus Edge at WrestleMania. I would not complain about that at all. I think that would be a fantastic match. And Sami does some really great heel work. Regarding Sami Zayn's contract, this is being reported that he had signed a 3-year deal in late May or early June 2018. However, because he had 2 shoulder surgeries, WWE has extended it. They may have extended it as much as 9.5 months, so it could be March or April, depending on the length of time it was frozen before he's a free agent. And we all know Kevin Owens is another current WWE star whose deal is up very soon, with Fightful revealing a change to his contract during lockdown means his current deal expires at the end of 2022 in January. Tony Khan has not commented on this, but you would think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens would be two people every wrestling promoter and promotion in the world would want to sign if they were about to become free agents at the start of next year. And I do believe this report because the same thing happened with Jeff Hardy when he was out dealing with legal issues and he had to go to rehab. WWE froze his contract. Otherwise, he would have been a free agent and in AEW with his brother Matt Hardy by now. But he still is employed by WWE because WWE extended his contract by another year because he wasn't actively competing and dealing with personal issues. They froze his contract, and now he has to wait a little bit longer to become a free agent. So the fact that this is being reported with Sami Zayn is absolutely legit because it's happened to not only Jeff Hardy, it's happened to Daniel Bryan, it's happened to Rey Mysterio. So it's happened to a few people on the active roster over there in WWE. But Sami Zayn, listen, I don't know where he would end up if he is a free agent. He may actually end up staying with WWE. We don't know. Is there life for him on the indies again? I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting situation to look at when we get there, but I'm not thinking about it right now. We got another 3 or 4 months till January, and that is Kevin Owens' time, and his deal's coming up there. We'll worry about that there. He really can't talk to anybody right now, so, I mean, it's all hearsay on who's interested and who's not, where he's going and where he's not. Same thing with Sami Zayn. Let's enjoy them when we have them on TV. I wish WWE would do something more with Kevin Owens because it's a fucking crime that they got him doing nothing but Kevin Owens shows wearing a goddamn fucking t-shirt and a goddamn silly tie while doing it. He should be in something a little bit more meaningful, not feuding with fucking Happy Corbin. Same thing goes for Sami Zayn, man. These guys deserve a lot better, but you would think if WWE valued them, they'd be in a little bit more high-profile stuff on Friday night. I got news on Triple H. Thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Paul Levesque after his recent cardiac event. WWE announced back in September, on September 8th, that Triple H had successful heart surgery the week before at Yale New Haven Hospital in New Haven, Connecticut. And the statement noted that the operation was needed after Triple H suffered a cardiac event. This was caused by a genetic heart issue. At the same time, WWE stated that Triple H was expected to make a full recovery. Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that everything remains quiet regarding Triple H, but he was told that Triple H is in good enough shape that he is taking calls. However, the talent is not allowed to talk with Triple H about business-related topics. Well, how the fuck would they know? I mean, do they got his phone bugged? Do they got the phone wiretapped? When he picks up the phone, it's going to be Vince and fucking Bruce listening on the other end while he's taking a phone call with somebody in NXT as they complain to him, bro, they came in here and they wiped you clean. It's not the same anymore, man. The brand is dead. Give me a break. They can't talk business with Triple H. He's taking calls, but they can't talk business. Meltzer wrote, and I quote, talent's told that they can call him and wish him well, but that they are not to talk any WWE-related business with him. End quote. Now, I want to say, I don't want to make any offended comments or jokes about this, because you guys know exactly where I'm thinking and where I'm going, okay? You know. I want to think WWE said this to their talent in regards to Triple H about calling him and wishing him well only and not talking about business. I want to say that WWE has Triple H's best interest at heart, and that is his health, and I'm sure they do, 100%. I want to think that WWE doesn't want talent talking business because it will put stress on his heart. Why would it put stress on his heart? It's because, folks, the talent is not allowed to talk to Triple H about business-related topics because Triple H isn't in charge anymore. It could be a mixture of those two things, but the bottom line is Triple H is not in charge of everything that happens on NXT anymore. He's barely in charge of anything anymore. He may be in charge of how low the ink gets in the printer. He may be in charge of how many stirs are by the coffee bar at the Performance Center. He may be in charge of making sure there's copy paper for everybody that's in the offices down there. He may be in charge of all the timesheets when people clocked in, when people clocked out for work. He's in charge of the day-to-day operations. On Tuesday night, we got Bruce, we got Vince, we got Johnny Laurinaitis, and we got Ed Koskey and all these main roster fucking people that don't know a fucking clue about what to do. They're there writing the show, taking over. Kevin Dunn's in charge of production. Meanwhile, they put a figurehead like Shawn Michaels in Gorilla, and they have him, quote-unquote, run the show. Why was Shawn Michaels there to run the show? Because Triple H is not there. Triple H is no longer in charge. Vince McMahon doesn't need to be there. Oh, I'm not going to show up on Tuesday night. Why do I got to be there? I'm just going to pay somebody to be there for me while I write the show and they produce the show that me and Bruce wrote. It's exactly what happened there. But Triple H is no longer in charge. And they don't want any business-related topics thrown Triple H's way because it would put stress on his already broken heart, which is why he landed in the fucking hospital in the first place. Thoughts and prayers go out to Triple H. We love him. Speaking of NXT, WWE announcers Vic Joseph, Beth Phoenix, and Wade Barrett not allowed to say the name of Steiner on NXT television. Now, as many of you saw this week or have not seen, WWE did a NXT 2.0 revamp, and the son of Rick Steiner, the son of Rick Steiner debuted on the show as Bron Breakker. with 2 Ks. At one point, he was supposed to be called Rex Steiner, which is a fucking cool, badass name. But then they ended up giving him Bron Breakker. A decision on that, nobody knows why it was made. Meltzer noted on the Observer Radio that Rick Steiner's name is not allowed to be mentioned by the announcers. Meltzer said this, and I quote, WWE do weird things all the time, but this guy comes out in a singlet like Rick Steiner. He has a haircut like Rick Steiner. He looks like the son of Rick Steiner. And he is the son of Rick Steiner. And they never mention it at all. They never say second generation wrestler. They never bring up Rick Steiner. Never brought up Scott Steiner, which I'm not really surprised by because of all the derogatory comments he's made about the company and the Hall of Fame and Stephanie McMahon and the way that they handle business and all this shit. So I'm not surprised that they don't mention Scott Steiner. But Rick Steiner? They don't mention Rick Steiner? Rather odd, man. WWE is a odd bunch of people. When Brian Alvarez noted how there was a reference to the dog-faced gremlin nickname, Meltzer said this, and I quote, "It was an inside wink-wink because the guys were told they cannot say Rick Steiner, so Vic Joseph decided to be cute, and he wasn't banned from saying dog-faced gremlin, but those announcers were absolutely told you cannot mention Steiner's last name. Why would you do this? Rick Steiner was a pretty big star. Why would you do this and ban the mention of Rick Steiner's name? It is just weird." Now, clearly there was bad blood and has been bad blood, still is bad blood, between WWE and Scott Steiner. The company has no issues with Rick Steiner, but it's not uncommon for WWE to ignore names like this. Joe Hennig debuted several years ago, and they renamed him Curtis Axel, which is still a take on his family name, and they rarely mentioned that he's the son of Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, which is fucking bizarre to me because he's one of the greatest all-time performers in the history of that entire company. Then you got Ben Buchanan, who's been named Brooks Jensen. They paired him in a tag team with Josh Briggs on Tuesday night. Not one mention that he's Bull Buchanan's son. Former WWE superstar Bull Buchanan. Same goes for Cal Bloom, who they named Von Wagner. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck a Von Wagner is. Put the lotion in the basket, Von Wagner. Looks like fucking Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. They don't have any reference to who their fathers are. Cal Bloom, Von Wagner, is the son of former AEW and WWE star Wayne Bloom. That's that. From the Beverly Brothers tag team. There are exceptions to the rule, though, because some wrestlers like Charlotte Flair and Natalya are allowed to mention who their fathers are. I guess it's a political thing. I guess Bull Buchanan wasn't a big enough star for that name to be straddled with on their son or daughter's name. And Curt Hennig, I don't know why that was. That always fucking really fucked with my thinking. Why don't you mention that he's the son of Mr. Perfect? I don't really get that. I mean, that's a huge selling point. This is ridiculous to me. It really is. I get how WWE wants to kind of create their own. But what I think about when I listen to this is how WWE hates the business. They don't appreciate anything that's happened in the past. They hate their past. They want so badly, and you know this is true, to change their past. I don't know why they would think that Bron Breakker would be as successful without mentioning his father's name and his lineage and where he came from as compared to if they did mention who he was related to and the name and his father and how influential his father was to not only WWE but professional wrestling, tag team wrestling. The Steiner brothers are one of the best tag teams of all time. A major influential tag team of all time. I mean, I love knowing shit like that. It actually would make him a bigger star for it. To me, he's just some fucking geek coming out wearing a colorful singlet And then I got references by Vic Joseph. He's got a dog-faced gremlin mentality. I think people would like to know that he's related to Rick Steiner. And Rex Steiner sounds like a bigger main event name than a Bron Breakker. Now, I'm hoping at some point that this is nothing more than a temporary name. I don't know what's going on with the name. Maybe WWE eases up on it and they change his name eventually when he gets a little bit more settled on Tuesday night. Maybe something along the lines of a monetary business agreement is happening with WWE and the family for WWE to use the name. Maybe the Steiners don't want maybe Rick Steiner doesn't want his son using the last name until he's properly compensated. Because their likeness is going to be with him on their program. I don't know. I hope that's the case, and I hope this is a temporary thing, and this Bron Breakker name is a temporary thing. But Rex Steiner has badass balls behind it. It's a badass name. I could look at a Rex Steiner in the main event against a Tommaso Ciampa instead of a Bron Breakker. Sounds like Mojo Rawley. It's no better than a Mojo Rawley. I don't look at a Bron Breakker as a main event guy. Bron Breakker sounds like some fucking off-character fucking geek in the WWE 2K series when you're playing a career mode. Oh, look, you create a guy, and now your latest test in NXT is Bron Breakker. Some generic fucking looking guy that you gotta get by and move on into the main roster. You gotta get by him to make the main roster. That's what it sounds like to me. I hope this is nothing more than temporary. Seriously. And Tommaso Ciampa was stared down at the end of NXT by Bron Breakker. A lot of people are wondering why Tommaso Ciampa won the championship. Why wasn't Von Wagner crowned the new champion, being that this is a reset or being looked at as a reset? Why didn't Bron Breakker make his way into the main event after beating LA Knight in the open of the show? Why didn't they remove LA Knight from the match and put Bron Breakker in there, have him win, really solidifying a reset? Where's Samoa Joe? Why couldn't Samoa Joe be in this match and drop the title to somebody that they wanted to really get behind as far as the reset is concerned? And I said this on Tuesday night. The reason why Tommaso Ciampa won the championship was because Bron Breakker's eventually going to win the championship. And when Bron Breakker beats Tommaso Ciampa is the last remaining fucking soul, the heart and soul of NXT. And I think by putting the championship on him, giving it to Breakker, passing the torch, it would be Vince and company putting the title on somebody that they want and killing the heart and soul that Triple H had really developed. Because Ciampa was right in the middle of everything since the day that brand caught fire. He's been the heart and soul of NXT. And I think it's a symbolic way of WWE saying, you know, Triple H is no longer in charge. We're going to put the title on Ciampa, and we're really going to take this thing to the next level and really kill it once and for all, crowning Rex Steiner the new NXT champion. I do think we get a new belt. I think we get a new champion. I think we get a new belt. I think the black and gold will officially be dead. Goldie, they're mentioning Goldie. They mention Goldie more now than I've ever heard them mention Goldie. And Goldie's black and gold. Goldie is Ciampa. It's all symbolic when Bron Breakker wins that championship. So hopefully the name doesn't stay. Hopefully they go back and do the Rex Steiner thing. We'll see what happens with that. I'll keep a close eye on what they're doing and why they are not allowing the commentary team to mention anything about his family lineage. And finally, guys, updated list on Vince McMahon's banned words. Might as well keep the ball rolling here. Updated list on Vince McMahon's banned words not allowed in WWE. Now, as you guys know, a lot of words are not allowed to be said by the commentary team on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. As of now, the list is updated, and this is the new list. People and personalities on WWE TV cannot say the following: blood, choke, belt, strap, which I find funny because Tony Khan at the post-show scrum mentioned something about belt, and Excalibur said championship or strappy. Kind of went around saying the word belt, and Tony Khan laughed. Bro, listen, there's no banned words here. You could say championship belt if you want. It's ridiculous. And the reason why Vince doesn't want belt being said is because he thinks a belt is used for something that holds up your pants, not in reference to championships. So you can't say belt, you can't say strap. Diva, they can't say. Headshot, trauma, kayfabe, mofos, house show, they can't say DQ. Now, I'm not talking about Dairy Queen. I'm talking about disqualification. They can't say DQ. The anti-diva, spinal injuries, victim, violence, wrestling. Can't say the word wrestling. Can't say the word wrestlers. Can't say WWE. Wife beater. Don't know why that would come up, but it's in there. Curb stomp. They actually only refer to it as the stomp. Phases that include the word push or over. Babyface, heel, job, jobber, card like match card, strangle, kill, and murder. Those are the updated list of words that Vince McMahon does not allow any of the people on WWE television to say. Now, there are other words that weren't listed on the list. This was posted by The Observer. Some of those other words include concussion and head, meaning that concussion, head, they go hand in hand. The word skull is not used as well. And the announcers are said to say WWE Universe instead of fans. Medical facilities, another one that's used instead of hospital. And injury reports use the word contusion. All of this comes from Vince McMahon. Micromanaging much? A little anal much? I think so. Some of those words are understandable. Some of them also are just bizarre, with them not being mentioned on TV. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed this extra today. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys check me out tonight live on YouTube, SmackDown and AEW Rampage, live on YouTube, post-show at 11:05 as soon as Rampage goes off the air. And off the script, episode 391 will happen tomorrow as well. Appreciate all you guys and your support. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like I said, turn on the bell for notifications, and follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Until tonight, guys, I'll see you live tonight for SmackDown and Rampage on YouTube. See you guys then.